And like one of the things I'm doing, for example, is helping people see the story of Christ appear all over, and also the inevitability. Because one of the things that people don't realize is just how Christian they are without knowing it, and there are certain tropes, for example, in storytelling that are extremely popular right now or just inevitable right now that didn't exist before Christ. They just didn't. The image of the knight, for example, the image of the strong person who is willing to fight to defend the weak and to sacrifice himself for those who can't fight for themselves. That is a Christian story. It's not there was none of that in the pagan world. The pagan heroes are all jerks. They're all selfish, like boorish people who only care about their honor. Whereas the knight has that idea that you can fight for the weak. And so
I was just reading Robin Hood lately. It's my like bedside story, and it's exactly that.
And so you can't avoid it. Like the image of the hero who gets knocked down and, kind of stays down for a while, and you feel he's going to lose and he's going to be beaten, and then he gets back up at the end.
Rocky.
It's such a cliche, but without the resurrection, that story is not. It just wouldn't be part of our tropes. And so I try to point to people to say how much the story of Christ has imbued all our forms, and that as we move away from Christianity, it even becomes more apparent, because we start to notice now all of a sudden that every Marvel comic story, every Marvel movie is about Jesus basically, and it's just in the little parts of Jesus' story that are appearing in those.
Well, I mean, I watched the first Thor. Which I know is kind of based on mythology anyway, but a lot of them are in some way, and it's just so Christian. I mean, he comes to Earth, he dies and saves us and resurrects and then ascends, and he tells his bride he will be back for her. Not his bride, but his girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly. He's coming back for her.
Very on the nose.
I think the first Thor movie was Kenneth Branagh, so he probably was doing it very, very much on purpose. But even like the whole arc, like if you look at the Avengers Endgame and all that stuff, at the end, like this, I'm going to spoil the movie. I mean, everybody's seen it by now, so
it's your fault if you haven't. Continue.
Yeah, exactly. It's your fault. So I keep telling people, like, when at the end Iron Man takes the gauntlet, right, and then kills Thanos using the gauntlet. He's making a Lord of the Rings move. Mm-hmm. He's taking the ring and he's using it to fight evil. And so the question is, what's the difference? Like, what's the difference between why in the Lord of the Rings they can't do that? Like, if they take the ring, they're going to be corrupted by its power. Why is it that Iron Man can take the ring, Tony Stark can take the ring and use it to defeat evil without being corrupted? And the reason is that because he sacrificed himself. It's because he died doing it. And that's the only reason why he could do it, is because he knew that he was going to die when he did that. And it's a Christian story. It just ends up being a Christian story where he takes the power of death, uses it against death to save the world from death, but he has to die himself in order for it to be legitimate. In order for it not to be a form of satanic pride, he has to die. And it's like, what are you going to do? You can't avoid the story. It's just it keeps coming back and back and back.
Yeah, trample death by death. That's beautiful. Yeah, okay.
Thank you for watching this clip. You can click here to watch the full episode. And I want to say a big thanks to our sponsors and to our amazing patrons for making all of this possible. Please do us a favor before you go. Click that subscribe button and then the bell. And that way YouTube will be forced to let you know every time we put out a new episode.